Paul Atreides spends 5 hours across 2 films refusing to become the person everyone already knows he is. He has the visions, he has the training, he has a civilization waiting for him. And for nearly the entire story, he says no. Your customers do the same thing. Most marketers respond by pushing harder. Dune shows why that backfires and what to do instead. I'm Alexander Toth, and this is What Marketers Can Learn from Dune. Dune Part 1 and Part 2 are one 5-hour story. Paul Atreides starts as a 16-year-old prince with visions he doesn't understand and ends as the self-declared messiah of an entire civilization, commanding an army of fundamentalists to holy war.
I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis!
The moment he accepts that role is the structural equivalent of the moment your customer buys. Today I want to examine a mistake that nearly every character in Dune makes with Paul. It's the same mistake most marketers make with their customers. It comes down to what finally moves him to act, because the same force moves your customers. Having a need for what you sell does not mean that someone is ready to buy.
What if I'm not, Dad? Not what? The future of House Atreides.
Paul Atreides is the most qualified candidate for the role of Messiah in the history of his universe. He has prophetic visions, he has Bene Gesserit training, he has the bloodline. From almost the first scene, the evidence is overwhelming. And he refuses. The Fremen see him arrive on Arrakis and start shouting. Paul frowns. He knows the Bene Gesserit planted this myth, and he wants no part of it. At the midpoint of the first film, Paul breaks down in the desert when the spice forces visions upon him. He screams at his mother using the voice.
Get off me! You did this to me! You Bene Gesserit made me a freak!
This is the person with more evidence of his calling than anyone else in the story. But evidence doesn't create readiness. If evidence alone doesn't create readiness, the natural next move is to push harder, make the case more urgently, add more proof. In Dune Part 2, this is what happens, and every attempt backfires.
He said, I got that.
Jessica becomes a Reverend Mother. Her unborn daughter, Aaliyah, begins speaking from the womb. Jessica goes to Paul with Aaliyah's message.
She believes in you.
He's not convinced. She pushes harder.
You must drink the water of life.
Paul walks away. He spends the next hour of the film fighting in the north, building his reputation as Muad'Dib, falling in love with Chani, doing everything except the one thing everyone around him wants him to do.
I'm not the Mahdi.
The people around Paul can see who he is before he can. Stilgar sees it first, then Jessica, then Aaliyah. Each attempt to convince him makes him pull back further. Robert McKee writes in Story that true character is revealed in the choices a person makes under pressure. He says the greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature. The main pressure comes from the Harkonnens. Jessica, Stilgar, and Gurney verbalize it to Paul, adding to the pressure and giving the audience a window into what Paul is thinking. Paul tells Chani.
I'm no Messiah.
He tells Jessica.
Prophecy.
It's not a prophecy. It's a story that you keep telling, but it's not their story, it's yours.
He tells Gurney that if he goes south, all his visions lead to horror.
Because you lose control.
Because I gain it.
The harder they push, the more clearly Paul articulates why he won't act. I call this the conviction trap. The assumption that if you present a strong enough case, the customer will be convinced. Most marketing operates this way. Present the argument, agitate the pain, increase urgency with a countdown timer.
Do you realize what you were able to achieve with 200 men?
Push harder.
Incredible fighters.
Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't make a compelling case for what you sell. I'll get to how to do that in a moment. But just like Jessica standing over Paul with the weight of prophecy behind her, pushing harder to convince someone who's not ready only adds clarity to their conviction not to buy. The good news is, there's a better way.
If you don't want to raise an army in the South, you may still have an option.
If evidence doesn't create readiness and pressure creates resistance, then what does move a person to act? Conditions.
Johnny!
The Harkonnens bomb Siege Tabard. The water of the cistern, the most sacred Fremen resource, is destroyed. Refugees flood the Cave of Birds. A mother laments her son. The screenplay says, Paul's heart is broken. Stilgar begs Paul to take his place as leader.
You must take my place.
Paul refuses.
It is a good time to cross blades with me.
When everyone decides to go south, Paul tries to stay behind alone. Shishakli delivers the message. Then he prays.
Talk to me, Jonas.
And Jamis appears in a vision.
The good hunter always climbs the highest dune before his hunt. You need to see.
The screenplay says he understands what he needs to do, and it's radical. No one convinced Paul. No one made the winning argument. The conditions of his story, the bombing, the refugees, the people who would not leave without him, accumulated until only one path remained. He rides the sandworm east, alone, to the Maker's Temple. He drinks the water of life. When he wakes, the screenplay says, something profound has changed inside of him, as though he had finally made peace with a part of himself. The screenwriters never gave another character the speech that talks Paul into accepting his role. There is no such speech. They built the conditions that made his transformation inevitable. Your customer's journey might not be as intense as Paul's, but the psychology is identical. People don't buy because you made an argument that was convincing enough that they suddenly decided they were ready. They buy because their own story set up the conditions where taking action became the obvious and sometimes the only next step. This is what Jessica realized before she went south herself, summed up in one sentence.
I'll be waiting for you. All of us.
In marketing, your job is to be present the moment someone is ready for you. This is what ads and SEO are for, getting into people's lives so they know you exist. Then you connect with their story with compelling marketing. The goal is to connect, not convince. Using story in your marketing is the best way to connect with your customer's journey instead of trying to shortcut it. In the first act of the Clear Brand story arc, you connect with your customer's world in their own words. You name what they're experiencing. You speak to their desire. If you're a SaaS company selling project management software, you don't say the most powerful project management platform on the planet. Instead, you say something like, give your team the platform that empowers them to get more work done. When your customer reads the second one, they think, that's exactly what I want. I want my team to get more work done. Next, you show your customer a path exists. Paul's second act is the middle of both films, where he trains with the Fremen and experiences what his life could look like. He isn't convinced yet. He's living inside a possibility. Your website does this when it shares what you do, shows results from other customers in case studies and testimonials, walks through what working with you looks like, and helps people picture themselves living that story. You're building a connection. You're letting them know you understand them deeply and building confidence that you are the ally they need to get where they're trying to go. You're not forcing a decision on them. You're aligning your marketing with what's already happening in their lives. In the final act, your customers take action. Paul drinks the water of life. Your customer clicks schedule a call. This moment cannot be forced. It can only be prepared for by making sure the rest of the marketing connected with the story your customers have lived. Dune takes 5 hours to move its hero from resistance to acceptance, and the screenwriters never shortcut it. They never let another character convince Paul with a speech, because that's not how people work. They build the conditions, scene by scene, until the moment arrives when he sees only one path forward. Your customers arrived at the same moment. You don't create it by pushing harder. You create it by understanding their story well enough to connect with it, then being there when they're ready.
Is that okay?
That's marketing. Get in front of your customers when they're ready with a message that connects with the story they're already living.
Lead them to paradise.
My name is Alexander Toth. I'm the founder and CEO of ClearBrand, and we use storytelling to grow companies. We work with SaaS and professional service companies doing over $3 million a year, and we help them scale with a better website and with SEO, AEO, and AI strategies so that you show up when your customers are looking for you. If that sounds like what you're looking for, go ahead and click one of the links below this video. If you liked this video, give us a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.